Welcome everyone to the final round of the season 2012 season 4 Iracing.com V8 Supercar official online series. Jay Kennedy and Stephen Sandman Clark bringing you all the coverage for the final round from Brands Hatch in the UK. G'day Sandman.
Good evening, Mr. Kennedy. G'day everyone. We're in for a ripper race, 30 laps around Brands Hatch, and hey, on the cards we may be crowning a brand new champion.
Yeah, we are only more than likely going to have the second dual champion, or two-time champion, Richard Hampstead. He's joining us in the commentary box now to do a little hot lap for us. G'day Hammer.
Hey guys, how are you?
Yeah, very good. You a little bit nervous or excited tonight?
Bit of both. We're in a pretty decent position for the championship. Just hoping everything goes our way and we keep our nose clean.
Championship-wise, you do have a substantial gap ahead of third place Justin Ruggier, and Madison Down doesn't look like he's running tonight, so makes it a little bit easier for you tonight.
Yeah, well, I mean, basically I just want a podium, really. I don't want to fight too hard, for victory. I just want to have a nice clean race, get to the end, and hopefully wrap up the title.
Mate, in the position you find yourself in, when you look at Brands Hatch as a whole, is there anything that that worries you about Brands Hatch? How does it sit with you as a racetrack?
I really enjoy it, especially in this car. I think it's a lot of fun. You got some nice high-speed turns, a little bit bumpy but not too much, and yeah, just a good fun track in this car.
Probably. Sorry, go Sam.
No, sorry mate. I was just going to say, it obviously helps with the confidence, the position you're in with the championship, to come to a racetrack that you enjoy too. That's good.
Yeah, definitely. I'd much rather come here than somewhere like Zandvoort.
You didn't have much fun last week, or you somehow miraculously picked up a decent position.
Yeah, well, everyone in front of me either blew up their engine or disconnected, so that helps a lot.
Talk us through this hot lap, mate. It's definitely a tricky track, and talk us through.
Alrighty, so just try to hang out wide for the first turn. It's a bit of a blind turn, but you just got to brake fairly early. Be nice and gentle in. Get close to that curb, but don't hit it, otherwise it'll bounce you off the track. Run out wide. Then, once again, just nice and gentle. You can drift to the back of the car on entry a bit here. Get it turned round. Then go right out to the right-hand side. There's sort of some invisible ripple strip out there, which you can use a little bit of advantage, and then run right out wide over that ripple strip. And this is a bit of an interesting turn. I'd like to try to keep it nice and tight on exit, and just get a nice clean run right up to the curb on exit, and get your first little brake. Start sighting your braking marker about here. Brake at about the 100-meter board. Get it nice and turned in on the apex. And then there are a few lines here. I try to use the outside line right out across the exit curbing. And then this is my favourite turn on the whole track. Just a nice little kink. You can use a lot of curb, get the car out sideways on exit. And then second last turn, use the inside curb and the exit curb, and just try to get a nice clean exit out of there. And then the last turn, I use a bit of a interesting line and run out really wide on exit here, and then just try to shorten the track to the finish line.
A bad lap time, 1:28.7. I'm guessing you still have race fuel in the car as well?
Yes, that's definitely with a race setup.
Yeah, race setup as well. Sorry, we were talking before we went live. Saving fuel around this place, you've got to save quite a lot too. How much do you struggle with that, or do you not struggle too much?
It's a lot of fuel to save in a lap. You have to save almost half a litre every lap, and it's only a minute 30 laps, so it's pretty difficult. You lose a fair bit of time, but I mean, it's everybody's got to do the same, so just whoever does it best wins, I guess.
Do you enjoy it as far as a fuel? I know a lot of people would prefer, a clean-cut decision where it's a pit stop or no pit stop, but how do you actually, enjoy the fuel-saving technique, or you just rather get on with it?
I don't know if I'd necessarily say I enjoy it, but I mean, strategy is a part of racing. I mean, I sort of view it the same as trying to conserve your tyres. I mean, it's not like we have tyres that you can just pound lap after lap without any penalty. I mean, it's just the strategy that's fastest. So, I mean, you just got to use it, really.
Well, good luck tonight, mate. We'll no doubt talk to you after the race when we make the official announcement on who's champion.
All right, cheers, guys.
All the best, mate.
Yeah, enjoy the race, guys.
Apologise, we're having a few issues at the moment. We'll try and fix them up in the next couple of minutes before we get into the final qualifying. The fuel saving race is definitely not something everyone enjoys. Some guys can do it really well, other guys can't. I know I'm one that can't. I think you're one that doesn't enjoy it too much either.
I'm one of the people that can't. It is actually a real art, and for the people who can do it, I really do take my hat off to them. But there is a real skill to save that much of fuel, especially around here. But it's one of those things. I think there's a lot of conjecture in the pits as far as, a lot of people would like to see these races either sorted with a fuel stop or without. But just as Richard was saying, it does add a different element to these races, but sometimes it doesn't make the most exciting racing. So it's one of those catch-22s, really.
Yeah, some fuel-saving races we've had probably some of the closest racing, and others have just been a procession. So interesting to see how it unfolds tonight. As Richard said, a lot of fuel to save, which means some guys who can do it better than others will take advantage of that. Fingers crossed we'll have a nice and close race.
Yeah, that's right. And don't forget, all right, this is a bit of a fuel-saving race, but there are a couple of people that have elected, in the practice races leading up to tonight, that have elected to pit. So I guess it's all not clear cut as far as who will pit and who will stay out. But I think if you can really lap fast and save fuel at the same time and go the distance, then that's obviously a key advantage.
We're not far away from the final qualifying of the season, which is a little bit exciting. I'm rather excited, Sam, man, about getting this season done and moving on to the next season, as much as I've loved this season.
It's gone incredibly fast, hasn't it? I mean, I guess it helped a little bit that everyone had a little bit of a break over Christmas and New Year's, but yeah, here we are. We're about to crown another V8 Supercar champion, and the best thing of all, next week we've got Race of Champions.
Yeah, not far away from Race of Champions. We'll talk about that shortly. We'll go through qualifying at the moment as it stands. Justin Ruggier on pole position, 1 minute 26.702. Madison Down, who are more than likely isn't racing. I'm pretty sure he's nowhere near his simulator, so highly unlikely he will race. Only 4/1000ths of a second behind, a 126.706. Richard Hampstead next, 126.751. Then Mitchell McLeod, good to see him up near the front of the grid, 126.980. Scott McLaughlin, who appears will be racing tonight, in fifth at the moment, a 127.017. And Vale Riches, Michael Fabian, Sean Kelly, John Emerson, and Josh Muggleton, who actually picked up a race win last night in his return to the series. Don't know if he'll be racing tonight, but currently in 10th position.
Yeah, that was brilliant. I was in that race last night, and we were talking just before the race started, and he asked what sort of fuel number he had to hit, and it was amazing. He just went out and did it, and did the job, and did everything right. So it was a brilliant run by Muggo.
Yeah, it was Justin Ruggier was the fastest driver on the track at that time, and he opted not to fuel save and pit, led Muggo to the win. Vale Riches in second. So I think since then Justin's tried to save as much fuel as he can, and he's picked up the win in the early race tonight.
And also too, I know it's not much of a secret, but Justin always hadn't had much success saving fuel. He's always had a chat to us sort of sometimes off air, as saying just how much bad luck he's had trying to save fuel, but it looks like he's got it down pat tonight, which is good.
All right, now we'll talk about it now, Sam, man. Race of Champions next week, live Sunday and Monday nights next week. Now remember, Sunday is a public holiday, so you can enjoy a few drinks while you watch me crash. I'm actually very nervous. You boys in here have made me very, very nervous.
But we'll be good.
We'll be live next week from 7 p.m. Sydney time, Australian Eastern Daylight Savings Time, 6 p.m. in Queensland, 9 p.m. in New Zealand, on both Sunday night and Monday night for 2 races each night. 5 possible cars. Now, I've just got a little bit of a note from Chris Tarrant, who's organising the event. Remember, Racer Champions 3 may and could have ovals, roads, tin tops, open wheelers, safety cars, reverse grid, tracks we may or may not have ever driven on, weight penalties, pit stops, standing and or rolling starts, plus more.
I love it. I'm very jealous, mate. You're going to be sitting in the hot seat, and it's going to be brilliant to watch.
It should be a lot of fun. We've got 5 cars never used before in Racer Champions. We've got possibly the Lotus 49, which will be released not long before we actually drive it. So that'll be rather interesting, as well as the McLaren, the Class B NASCAR, which is the nationwide car, the Pontiac Solstice, and the Legends.
Yeah, the one thing I do love about the possible inclusion, now I say possible because there is a chance with the guys have got a deadline, a time cut off that if it doesn't get released by a certain time, then it won't be included. But if the Lotus makes an appearance, that'll be sensational because absolutely no one will have no laps behind the car. So that will make it a real level playing field.
Also, there is a possibility Interlagos, the Brazilian Formula One track, is released next week sometime. We could possibly be driving on that as well, so that's another possibility. And there'll also be a teams event for Racer Champions this time around as well. So that's something actually disadvantage the big teams as opposed to advantage the big teams. So should be a very fantastic event. That's next week live on v8sonline, presented by Direct Clutch Services, Extreme Sim Gear, and Derek Spear Designs.
Yeah, sensational event. I just can't believe every 13 weeks this thing gets bigger and better, and always happens to throw in a little curveball every now and then. And no doubt this season's event is going to not let us down for sure.
Yep, can't wait till next Sunday night. Now we're only a couple of minutes away from qualifying. I think we've got all our technical issues sorted. Fingers crossed. Possibly.
There's some busy boys behind the scenes, but no doubt they're doing their best to get us back on track for the final round. 30 laps around Brands Hatch. Yeah, it should be a ripper.
I think we've been sabotaged by Madison after he left last week, knowing that he wasn't racing this week. He sabotaged the box.
He's happy. He's got his win. It was broadcast. Now he's out of here.
Yeah, he'd had enough, gone home. The next season as well, the schedule for next season, which is only 2 weeks away, been released. Some interesting tracks in the schedule, Sam. We make our return to Lime Rock Park, which we saw in the second V8 Super Chaos, and that was definite mayhem. But official race, it'll definitely be a different event.
Yeah, you're not wrong. These cars can be tricky enough to drive on some of the bigger circuits, but when you go to Lime Rock, if you're not real familiar with it, check it out. You'll be absolutely stunned when you see this little tight little racetrack. The racing will really come down to qualifying. It's going to be really important to qualify up the front because it's going to be one of those racetracks that should be really tough to pass.
Yeah, I think a few of the fast guys might even get some air over the jump. Down the back straight as well, so we should definitely see it all. And we're just waiting for pictures to come through from the final qualifying session. Of course, next season as well, before I forget to mention, we will be starting half an hour earlier next season. The races will be half an hour earlier. So we will be live from 8:30 Australian Eastern Daylight Savings Time for most of next season until Daylight Savings finishes. So make sure you remember next season we will be half an hour earlier in our broadcasts. Waiting, pictures should start coming through from this final qualifying session in any moment. Not quite getting them yet.
It's always interesting, this last qualifying session before the race. Obviously, it's our last one for the season, the last chance for someone to grab provisional pole, but Justin's been pretty quick all week, and I think it might be a hard yard to knock him off the perch.
Yeah, but one to watch here, I think, Mitchell McLeod, he's always been really fast at this track. He's won quite a few races. I think our closest ever finish was at this track with he versus Madison Down, I think season 4 last year. So this track definitely a place that he does very well at. So see how he goes. Not far away. He's only started practicing tonight again. Not happy with him.
Actually, someone that we haven't spoken about, you briefly touched that Scott McLaughlin's making a return to racing after a few weeks away, and I think it's only today that he quickly put that that qualifying time down. So I guess he's one person that can improve. Obviously, you know, he'll have a decent setup behind him, having Justin Ruggier as his teammate. So he's probably one to watch in this session.
Josh Muggleton out on track as well. So some familiar names out on track that we haven't seen for a little while, which is always good to see.
Yeah, Muggo took a bit of time out from racing, and fingers crossed he comes back full-time next season. I don't know if everything's confirmed just yet, but so we obviously had a bit of a busy schedule, but it's good to see him back on track.
All right, we're finally getting live pictures through. Richard Hampstead coming out for his final qualifying session. If we go to Justin Ruggier, about to start his his first flying lap in this final session. Currently provisional pole. He's got quite a decent gap with pole position at the moment. Almost half a second. That's almost unheard of in this series, that the gap between first and third is half a second. Nice and clean so far.
I've been watching him all week. His car looks really good on track, really settled, stable, and always fast. And looks like he's doing it quite easily. Like I said, all week he put down a decent time in qualifying, sits on provisional pole, and it really doesn't look like it's too much of a stress to drive, which is what you're always trying to chase in a race car.
He's just got it so under control. It's just in the car or one, the way he's looking on track. It has for the last few weeks as well. Went through a stage there where his car looked really unsettled towards the end of last year, but looks like a totally different car again now.
So his fastest time for the week so far, 1:26.702, as he crosses the line for his first hot lap, and that's a 1:28.5. So still a little bit more pace to find if he's going to try and improve on his time.
He may or may not be doing some fuel-saving practice. Hard to know with this session. Hard to know who's doing what out on track.
It's exactly right. One of those elements that we're just not used to, and yeah, it's hard to tell whether someone's having a red-hot go or not.
And now, sorry. What'd you say, sorry, mate? Okay. Sorry, guys. Go to Dave Hingston. Having a real good night. Technical issues, so we'll fix those out before the race. Bingo, quite excited to make it back into our spotter guide this week. Been out for a few weeks, but definitely always right up near or in a good battle in the mid-pack. Very competitive and good clean driver.
Looks like we're at that point of the session where everyone's sort of getting ready for a hot lap. They're all on their out laps trying to find a bit of track to themselves, and don't know if anyone's quite on a hot one just yet.
It looks like everyone's slowing down as well to make sure that no one behind is on their hot lap so they don't ruin their laps, and everyone just decided to turn that straight into a car park. Turn 2 for Hinkson. This is probably the most crucial corner on the track. Very, very easy to run wide, very easy to get it sideways, very easy to lose a lot of time while you're sideways.
You're not wrong. It's probably.
Testing.
I was a bit surprised with just how throttle sensitive this racetrack is. There's a couple of turns, especially where Higston's right up here now, coming through this left-hander, coming up the hill, getting on the throttle there. The thing does want to break away on you. So there's a couple of little parts on the track that actually does that to the car, which can be quite frustrating.
And that turn that Higston just went through there as well, it's really hard to find the apex as well.
Oh, movement there.
Nice big, that's the end of his lap there. He's going to push on, but I don't think he'll improve.
Yeah. Now that he's overexcited though,
I think he's just having a bit of fun out there now. Now Muggleton's put out a decent lap time of 1:27.413 to go P1 in the session. Double checking the times for the week. But about to start a hot lap as well. Almost improved his best time for the week, which he only did one session.
Yeah, I think you'll find he probably can improve on that time fairly easily. Like you said, he's only done one lap in this session, and he's almost cracked his PB for qualifying so far. So hasn't spent a lot of time in the car. Only joined the race the other night, and hasn't done many laps at all. So he's actually doing quite well considering the lack of time he's had on track.
That corner there's a lot of different lines. You see Muggo taking a really, really shallow exit through past the apex, and that can help some drivers, and other drivers don't like that line. So tough corner. It's a really tough track.
It's funny, it's one of those racetracks that I wasn't all that familiar with, only sort of getting back into full-time racing just recently, and did plenty of laps here to learn how to go fast, and then had to back it all up and work out my fuel, so that destroyed all that. But yeah, definitely a little tricky racetrack to get your head round to go fast.
Now that's something we haven't really mentioned. These guys have really got to change their mindset. They're going from racing less than an hour ago, saving fuel and conserving, to flat out again, and then soon they'll have to go and save again. Muggleton improves. That'll boost him up a spot. That'll move him to 9th on the grid. It'll actually be 8th on the grid. Go to Scott McLaughlin just starting his flying lap.
It's actually handy. Scott finds himself in a good position where he's obviously got himself a decent team around him, and obviously we've touched on that Justin's been quick, for this round, and he's been very quick for a number of seasons, and it's always handy that if you don't get a lot of seat time, that you can always sort of jump into a team that would sort of give you some sort of base setup that that's going to give you some decent speed.
Yeah, I think that's the most important thing, is having that structure around you to support you when you can't attend as much as you'd like. Like, all these guys here know how to set the cars up, know how to tweak them to suit their styles, but it's having that base there when you can come in that makes all the difference. It looks like he's aborted his lap. He might be practicing some fuel saving, I think.
Oh, just touched the grass there, and that'll fire him into the fence.
Yep, that usually doesn't work too good for your car. Go to Richard Hampstead, as he said in the hot lap, you can drift through this section of the track. Doesn't cost you too much time, and the rears are rather excited.
Yeah, the last thing you want to do is touch that grass on exit there, because you're carrying so much throttle in qualifying that it's so easy to dart the thing sideways and stick it into the fence. But he's done a good job. He'll cross the line, 26.868, so he'll go fastest in this session.
Still doesn't improve. Notice just ahead of Richard Hampstead there. Mitch Averill now joins the V8 Supercar fan group team under Lazy Man Racing. They're now a 3-car team.
And a great number he's running there too.
Yeah, I agree. We both run the same number, Sam, man.
We do.
We have to fight over the number when we join a session.
So on track, on camera, we've got Sean Kelly, the other V8 Supercar fan group Falcon. A little bit down the order in this session, really hasn't put together a decent time just yet. It's just pretty much his slow out lap, 39.5, so he's on target now for a hot lap.
Keep our eye on Justin Ruggier as well, who's posted purple first sector, so he's on a really good lap at the moment as well. Kelly's putting in personal best sectors, which aren't much slower than Justin's. These two guys will post some pretty impressive times here this lap around. Justin personal best, session best second sector, as does Qualy. Been nice and clean from Qualy.
And Justin's here, just in front. He's the next car in front of Sean Kelly, so Justin will cross the line first.
Justin crosses the line, does 1:26.76, and Qualy does a 1:27.2. The Qualy improves his time, won't improve his position. Justin 6/100ths away from his best time. To go to probably the breakthrough driver of the first Race of Champions, or the first two Race of Champions, Rob Hartley.
Yeah, I've had a lot of good racing with him lately. Just like I said, just recently started up a bit of full-time V8 driving again, and sort of find myself racing around with Hartley, and it's he's really a good operator, and it's actually a lot of fun racing with him side by side. Plenty of room he gives, and nice clean driver. It's great to see.
You always seem to end up in really good battle with a lot of these guys, don't you? It's always good to watch your races, Sam. Maybe we'll have to see if we can get a action cam on you one night.
I'm just glad the earlier race wasn't broadcast.
Well, then we need a crash cam.
No, I didn't hit anything. I just had one of those awkward bit entries.
Well, if you call it awkward. A little bit too wide there for Hartley. That's cost him a little bit of time on exit. Hasn't been too bad a lap from Hartley. That one corner that he's lost a bit of time, it's a 1:28.0. Doesn't improve his time for the week as we go to Scott McLaughlin, currently P5. The moment we'll start the race from P4. Best lap for the week, 1:27.017. The sector times he's putting in don't look like they're that quick, so I'm not sure if he's just practicing fuel saving, which is what it looks like he's doing. He's getting off the throttle very early. Only 5 minutes to go in this session as well. This has gone very quick. Go to Muggo, who's on a pretty decent lap at the moment. He's got a personal session best first sector.
Oh, close moment there on the edge there.
Very easy to lose it.
Oh, there
he goes.
We jinxed him.
Sorry, Muggo. Welcome back.
Seeing that he's my teammate, I'm going to blame you for that.
Well, I guess we're even then. Got Justin Ruggier on a hot lap, as is Sean Kelly, who we are with now. They're coming into the final corner. Lap time doesn't look too bad as well. Doesn't need much time to gain a spot. Michael Fabian currently the driver ahead with a 1:27.189. 1:25, that'll improve Sean Kelly by a position. Move him up to P7. Go back to Justin Ruggier. Middle sector not as good as the first. Still not a bad time at the moment though. No lap time recorded, so he's obviously gone off the track there at some point.
And that's incredibly easy to do around here too. There's a couple of places where you can get real aggressive with the curbs, and it looks like it might have cost him a little bit.
Matthew Hill and Matthew Barron both look like they're on out laps at the moment. I'll find someone on a hot lap. We've got John Latham about to start his flying lap. Now, he's probably been the most improved driver this season, in my opinion. Always finding himself right up there, pushing for the top 10 in qualifying every week.
Yeah, exactly. Just like you say that, he's sitting currently P11th at the moment. P11, 127.492.
Don't think that's the way to do it.
No, and into the fence.
Yep. Well, I think we've got everyone now.
We don't want anyone to feel left out throughout the
Well,
season,
that's
so
right.
we just spread it out across the board.
We don't want there to be any accusations of bias or anything towards certain drivers. We ruin everyone's lap equally.
Now the guys have to get on with it. We're 18 minutes gone in this session, so 2 minutes to go. So if the guys aren't already out on a flyer, they need to be sort of getting on with it now.
Lap from Hartley on the timesheets doesn't look too bad. Crosses the line, he'll do a 1:27.993. That doesn't improve on his overall, and that'll end his session. A lot of guys just pacing themselves, ready to start their flying lap. Trying to find someone who's on a hot lap at the moment. It doesn't look like anyone is. Go to Muggo. Starting his final flying lap. Final qualifying session for the 2012 Season 4 Championship.
Yeah, we touched on it before. It's gone incredibly quick, and yeah, Muggo would be looking to try and replicate what he did last night. A good run, grabbing the win, and he's got his fuel-saving technique down pat. And let's just see he can jump up the grid a couple more spots. That'd be nice for him.
Yeah, I think that's... Oh, grass. That's not quicker.
And that'll be the end of that.
Yeah, that's the end of that one. Latham on screen, he's on an outlap with May, also on an outlap. Well, everyone's on an outlap, but I don't know if these guys are actually going to cross the line in time. 10 seconds to go.
Well, they're going to be cutting it close.
Carlin, I don't think, is going to make it. Oh, he's going to be borderline. Checker flag comes out now. Oh, that's close.
Oh, maybe May have just missed it.
Richard Hampstead's just set a session best second sector. See if we can flick to him. Beautiful.
Looks good coming out of that turn. He's really on it. He's super excited to clinch his championship as he just gets a little sideways, but nice little power drift. Let's see what his time is as he crosses the line.
It's real controlled aggression from him. 1:26.8. That's not enough. He will start this race from P2 unless someone else behind can pull out a miracle. But it looks like it should be Justin Ruggier from pole position.
It's actually one of the sessions where normally we'll get a lot of movers and shakers, but I think it's all been fairly tame throughout this session, and there hasn't been that much of a gain, really.
I think actually Justin's on a really good lap here. We could see an improvement from him. Yeah, you're right. There hasn't been a lot of movement. Sean Kelly's the only driver to really make a move. Muggo as well, moving up a spot. Justin 1:26.736.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, let's not forget, although, you know, these guys are putting down some impressive lap times, this is all at full throttle, not worrying about fuel. It's a different story when we go green for 30 laps around here in just over 10 or 15 minutes time.
Yeah, definitely is going to be an interesting race. Fuel saving changes the whole race dynamics altogether. I'll run through what the grid will be for the race tonight. It'll be Justin Ruggie from pole. Madison Down has got the second fastest time, but it'll be a miracle for him to race tonight. Richard Hampstead's third. Richard McLeod, Scott McLaughlin, Vale Richards, Sean Kelly, Michael Fabian, Josh Muggleton, and John Emerson are the top 10. Sandman, once again, top 20, mate.
Yeah, good. Nice little target. I've been trying to sort of see whereabouts I sort of fall with the fast guys. Obviously not, I'm not with the Division 1 guys, but you've got to start somewhere. So, yeah, I'm pretty happy with that.
Well, we'll be back very, very soon for the final race of the 2012 Season 4 iRacing.com V8 Supercar Official Online Series. We'll be back soon.